Lot of your shackles, you have gold-plated them and you're wearing them like ornaments, aren't you?
Yes.
Your limitations, you're celebrating your limitations. Once you start celebrating your limitations, then there is no way to become free of that. What is Brahmacharya first? Brahman means the ultimate or the divine. Charya means the path. One who is on the path of the ultimate or one who is on the path of the divine is a brahmachari. Celibacy is talking only about the physical aspect of holding yourself back from an unnatural urge which is going on in the body and more in the mind. You have enough experience in life to know that nobody, however dear they may be, is 24 hours reliable. However dear and wonderful they are, nobody in the world is reliable 24 hours of the time to maintain your love and joy, isn't it so?
Yes. Yes.
Have you realized that or are you still hoping? So it's out of this wisdom, because if one wants to really know higher dimensions of life, one thing that is necessary is that within you there is a constant sense of peacefulness and joyfulness. If this is not there, then you will go after something. If you don't feel steadily peaceful and joyful, then you will do compulsive activity of trying to be happy. So, a brahmachari is somebody who is trying to organize his energies in such a way that to be peaceful and joyful is all his own. He is not going to lean on anybody for that. If once a human being's way has become like this, that his peace, his love, his joy is not dependent on anybody, he has the necessary background to spring up to another dimension. If this is not there, he will naturally get entangled in compulsive activity. Lot of your shackles, you have gold-plated them and you're wearing them like ornaments, aren't you?
Yes.
Your limitations, you're celebrating your limitations. Once you start celebrating your limitations, then there is no way to become free of that. So, you're seeing how to become joyful. If you seek it outside, you will invariably end up becoming a pleasure seeker. Anyway, the source of joy is within you. Whenever you were happy, did happiness happen from within you or did it rain upon you from outside? Always within you, isn't it? So if the source of happiness is within you, searching for it outside is quite a stupid thing. Yes? It is just that the source of happiness is within you, you are using an external stimulus to bring forth the joy in you. Or in other words, your joy is on push start. Shall we fix self-start on it? Don't want? If you put self-start on your joy, then you're a brahmachari. So brahmacharya on one level fundamentally means to move from being a compulsive human being to a conscious human being. Once someone understands that if I'm involved in compulsive activity, I will never go where I want to go. Isn't it so? Yes? If one is compulsive in his life, there is no question of he having a goal to reach or attaining a certain state or whatever. Compulsiveness means a very deep sense of slavery, isn't it? So one who has realized this naturally seeks to become conscious. So it is from this understanding that we said, if you really wanting to make a journey, you should drop your compulsiveness and bring consciousness to every aspect of your life. So that is Brahmacharya. If your energies were organized in such a way that all the time you're high, really high within yourself, You won't lean on anybody for these things, isn't it? Oh, I'm not like that right now. What to do? As I told you, these things don't come unless you make some effort towards it. One can go through life with the compulsive patterns without much effort. You can allow the life to carry you on. I know right now the new age philosophy is let it flow. I don't know what they're letting flow anyway. See, being a part of life, being involved with the process of life on the surface is one thing, at the core is another thing. Nature is on two different levels. One aspect of nature knows nothing other than self-preservation and procreation. This is the surface of nature. Your own nature if you take the nature of this body, it knows only self-preservation and procreation. It doesn't know anything else. So if you go by your physical nature, naturally this is all that you will do. Survival and procreation. Eating, sleeping, reproducing, dying. That's all that will happen if you go by the ways of the body. But at the same time, there is another nature within you which is longing to expand. If you give it the whole existence, it'll gobble up and still be hungry. Yes? Do you have that or not? If you feed the whole existence to this one, it'll gobble up everything and still be hungry for more. So there is another dimension of nature within you which wants to expand in an unbounded way. Which one do you give into is subject to who you are. Now, your problem is that by the time you became 14, your intelligence got hijacked by your hormones so much, you can't understand or you cannot accept how somebody can be free from it. Somebody can just sit here and be happy. They don't have to get married, they don't have to run behind the opposite sex, they don't have to do this or that. They're just happy doing simple things in their life, more joyful than you, more intense than you. So does it mean all of you should become a brahmachari? No, all of you should become a brahmachari internally. In terms of lifestyle, not necessarily. Brahmacharya does not mean just celibacy, okay? That is just one of the aspects that have been taken up as a supportive system to become a brahmachari. Brahmacharya means you are walking the path of the divine, that you are ecstatic by your own nature. You can be married and still be a brahmachari. It is possible. Because you are joyful by your own nature, you are not trying to extract joy from your husband or wife. You are joyful by your own nature. This is how it should be. The whole world should be brahmachari, isn't it? People who are willing to dedicate themselves for others' well-being are needed in the society. At any time, if there is nobody in the society who is thinking about others' well-being, that society is heading for ruin, definitely. That's what has happened to this society right now. There are very few people thinking of everybody's well-being. Others are all, what about me, what about me, what about me? If a certain percentage of people are thinking beyond their own well-being, only then a society will remain sane and stable. Otherwise, societies will just go for ruin. Is it not important? There are few people who are not thinking about their own well-being, their own life, they're seeing how to make it happen for somebody else. So brahmacharis are an investment for future, to keep spirituality in its pristine purity and to transmit it from generation to generation. A small core group of people are needed. Everybody need not take that thing, nor will we take everybody. Every year, hundreds of applications for brahmacharya comes. We just choose 8–10 people out of that, looking at various qualities and various possibilities. We don't take everybody who comes, because it's not necessary, nor can they be like that, nor can they put in the sadhana that is required or demanded out of them. Your personality has to become malleable and conscious, that you can mold yourself into any kind of pot. Is it not good to have that freedom?
Yes.
That's Brahmacharya.
If we were to look at the historical context, people's lives were divided into various phases. In ancient Bharat or India, as per Vedic system, there were 4 stages of life. The 4 stages were as follows: Brahmacharya throughout as their student life, Grihastha as a householder, Vanaprastha, a hermit, and finally Sannyasi, renunciant. During the Brahmacharya stage, student usually lived in a Gurukula, which was supposed to be teacher's household, where the student would learn various aspects of Dharma. Brahmacharya extended beyond celibacy and included a disciplined approach to all desires and impulses or compulsions. When we dive deep into this topic, we will find that Brahmacharya is practiced on various levels. They are as follows. In thought, one cultivates purity within his or her mind, neglecting or avoiding negative and potentially harmful thoughts. It aimed at staying focused on spiritual path and becoming conscious of each and every moment of life. In words, one would always keep track of their words so as to avoid gossips and unnecessary conversation. They would also make sure no harsh words would come up which would destroy the sanctity of that particular conversation. In action, those who were going through student life or as a renunciant, it meant celibacy, and for people holding family, it meant fidelity and purity within the relationships. So, in short, if we need to summarize Brahmacharya, then we can say that it was multifaceted concept encompassing spirituality, education, celibacy, and discipline in ancient India. Right from ancient times, in spiritual realm, Brahmacharya was always considered as crucial for self-realization. People on spiritual path always experienced that Brahmacharya was vital in conserving energy, and it also helped them in deepening their spiritual experiences. The discipline always allowed the spiritual seekers to connect more profoundly to their divine nature and attain higher states of consciousness. Most people often think the path of Brahmacharya or a Brahmachari is just making sacrifices in his or her life, and they are being denied life. But it is not true. For a person who is walking on the path of Brahmacharya, the petty pleasures that most of us think great are meaningless. Once we taste life, internal pleasures of being a human and pleasures of the materialistic world becomes meaningless. In order to understand, we can use the example of an entrepreneur. Suppose a person's dream is to build a business or an organization. Then he or she will have to deny themselves comfort, family get-togethers, society, and everything a normal person would love to enjoy. But it is these sacrifices that will make them successful in achieving that particular possibility. Maybe during their journey, they might not be eating well, sleeping well, or having dinner with family together, but the denial is to create something beautiful. Brahmacharya is aimed at crossing the physical dimension and moving on to the path of divine. The path is so much focused in one direction. All the bondages are broken so that the energy is used for just one purpose. To make an analogy, we can take another example of a rocket. All of us have a very basic understanding of how a rocket works. When the fuel is burnt, the energy is used to propel the rocket in one direction. That is why the rocket goes up. Now, imagine there is a problem with any of the systems in the rocket and the energy produced is directed in different directions. The end result will be that rocket will not reach anywhere. It is same for a human being. When the energies are unidirectional, then the path becomes possible. So, we think that this video helped in shedding some light upon Brahmacharya, a path which is walked by a very few capable people. Let us know in the comment section what you think about this video. Thank you for your valuable time. Namaskaram.